The guy who was suggested to eat balls as part of his diet. Or are you unfamiliar with that story? Don't worry, we got you covered. This video will take you through the beef between the Maverick and the Baddie. On top of that, here is some other interesting news about the two you wouldn't want to miss out on. So, with no further delay, let's get into it. First things first, where did this beef start? In the UFC, Paddy Pimblett has seen a spectacular ascent. The British fighter has captured the interest of MMA fans from all over the world since his debut. Although many in the industry want to fight him, the Baddie got much attention from his altercation with the controversial YouTuber Logan Paul. When the YouTuber called out the UFC lightweight, Paul and Pimblett started a series of throwing virtual jabs at each other. Paul fought Floyd Mayweather in the ring not too long ago and is certain he has what it takes to defeat Pimblett. Toward June 2020, True Geordie's podcast went live with Logan as the guest. The podcast was titled Logan Paul Calls Out Everyone, and well, yeah, that wasn't clickbait. Logan did that. What's relevant to this video is the part where he called out the fan favorite Paddy Pimblett. Logan said, "I'm taking out Paddy the Baddie dude. I'm taking him out." Moving on, here's how the Baddie took it. This statement of Logan's didn't sit right with Paddy, who labeled Paul as a clout chaser during a press conference. Pimblett revealed further that Logan texted him a while back calling Paddy a clout chaser. "Who's the clout chaser now, son?" added Pimblett. He also said that everyone in their right mind knows what he'd do to Logan if they were to fight. One has wrestled in school while the other has been winning in the UFC. Keeping this in mind, the Baddie doesn't think Logan can take him down. He also called Logan a monkey crab while saying he wanted to elbow his face in. Ouch! Paul and Pimblett traded insults, but since then, hardly anything noteworthy has happened. Paul is set to compete against Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel as he explores the world of WWE, while Pimblett concentrates on his UFC career. Coming up, let's take a look at Paddy's UFC career. Man's undefeated. Let's get that straight right away. Paddy Pimblett has raised a lot of noise in the UFC since making his debut in the octagon. The boxer has won over the fans with his shenanigans, besides giving stellar performances inside the octagon. Pimblett competed in the UFC for the first time against Luigi Vendramini. While many were interested in whether Pimblett would live up to the expectations, the Baddie came through by knocking Vendramini out in the first round. Rodrigo Vargas served as Pimblett's opponent for his second octagon challenge. The bout was won by a rear naked choke in round 1 yet again as the Baddie displayed his submission talents in a swift finish. Pimblett's third and most recent encounter was against Jordan Levitt, who presented a daunting task. Although the British fighter encountered difficulty in the first round, he prevailed in the second and earned another near-naked choke victory. Pimblett hasn't competed in the octagon since besting Levitt in July 2022. It will be amazing to watch who the 27-year-old fights when he returns to the cage, even though a matchup for the Baddie hasn't yet been revealed. Not to forget, this might be far from happening. That being said, Pimblett is not pleased with Paul's credentials as a sportsman, as seen by his video on Instagram, which included a reference to his previous remarks about the social media celebrity with a message where he implied Paul would get in line. And while we already know how the situation will go if these two face off in the ring, who wouldn't pay to watch that? Recently, Pimblett has stated that he intends to compete again at UFC 282 in December, but there is no evidence to suggest that Paul will be his opponent. As a result, we may have to wait a while for this matchup. Followed by D's. While we're on beef, we know Paddy loves food. The Baddie, who once again has never missed weight or lost in the UFC, has given a few food suggestions by the life-enthused Liver King, who made sure to give the athlete a piece of his mind. In a recent interview, the Liver King suggested Paddy includes the most nutrient-dense foods he could think of. Why? According to him, if the athlete has nutrient-dense foods like liver, bone marrow, and testicles, he will nourish not just his body but also his soul, which truly matters. He also said that choosing and resisting what to eat is easier than it sounds, easy enough that man was ready to bet on it. The Liver King also claimed that eating testicles will make your food easier to manage. However, the interviewer could barely believe what he had just heard and almost did a double take, asking if the Liver King had just asked Paddy Pimblett, a former Cage Warriors featherweight champion, to eat a bunch of testicles to get back in shape. But let's say that he was pretty serious about it. it. This question was met with an affirmative jumble of words that included something referred to as liver testicles. Brian, are you saying what we think you're saying? According to the man who claims to be the ruler of the organs, we are still unaware whether they are recognized as distinct entities in the body in his dictionary. Anyway, would you give testicles a shot? What's more, Paul brothers against each other. Since both the Paul brothers entered the world of boxing, rumors of a future fight between Jake and Logan Paul in the ring or the octagon for an MMA match have circulated. They have always laughed at the idea that a fight might break out because of their old YouTube feud, but that their father would forbid it even if people online wanted to see it. Following his exhibition fight with Floyd Money Mayweather, Logan has taken a break from the ring while Jake has improved and amassed a 5-0 record. However, Logan plans to return in January, at which point the brothers might decide to engage in a fight. On the 8th episode of the BS with Jake Paul program, the problem child spoke of the possibility of finally fighting his brother. Jake said that he thinks Logan and he is going to fight. When asked if he would face a buddy in a title match by the co-hosts, Jake said, "Yeah, I think we want to do that," even though Logan is attempting to fight in January and the problem child is fighting in October. So, looking at their different schedules, their match may still be a while away. Both the brothers provided no additional details about the potential fight. Now coming toward, Pimblett gets praised by St. Pierre. Although many elite-level competitors have entered the UFC over time, only a few may justifiably be mentioned in talks about the best of all time. Georgia's St. Pierre is the guy whose name appears in such discussions a little more frequently. Even in his post-retirement days, many fans and analysts respect the former middleweight and welterweight champ's view on the state of the sport. Many fighters grew up watching St. Pierre in his prime and used him as an inspiration when they first decided to train. Well, the baddie is not only one of those who was inspired by St. Pierre, but also is in his golden boy era. As we mentioned earlier in the video, the Scouse star is 3-0 as of now, and while he's yet to come up against the top lightweights, there is still a lot of excitement around his climb to stardom, potential for more success. In a recent interview, when questioned about the baddie and what he brings to the table, St. Pierre couldn't help but acknowledge his admiration for Paddy. Georgia's St. Pierre praised Pimblett and said that the kid was charismatic and had all the skills he'd need in coming fights. "What a character," added GSP after he said that he couldn't wait for the baddie's next fight. Lastly, the long road. Given that he is only 27 years old and likely has a bright future in the UFC, Paddy Pimblett has made it crystal clear that he doesn't want to rush into something he isn't prepared for. He's so far been successful in finishing all 3 of his opponents, but the lightweight class is known for its killers, so it'll be challenging for him to rise to the top. A December date in Las Vegas seems like an excellent landing location for a guy renowned for making a big debut. It's difficult to predict what direction Paddy will go next, only based on what we've heard. The moment seems perfect to fully nudge him into the American market because he made a lot of noise in the 2 London cards this year. Would you like to see Paddy take Logan on? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and ensure you're subscribed. We'll see you on the next one. Peace out.